Rachel, Jonathan, Mark, thank you so much. Also, just so everybody knows, Mark is one of the first people I met on this entire weird experience that has been running for United States Senate. And so it's an absolute honor to be here today. It's an honor to be endorsed by SEIU MSEA. One of the largest unions in Maine, 13,000 members. A union that represents the people that day in and day out show up to provide services for the people of the state, to make sure that our society continues to function. And to be endorsed by you is an absolute honor. And I am very much looking forward to fighting back against all the issues that your membership and, frankly, the average working person in Maine continues to face. You know, we have federal grants, funding cuts that are not making it up here, or funding cuts to federal grants, so money's not making it up here now. Grants that MSEA employees rely on that keep jobs and services going. You know, Susan Collins has supported Trump's cuts to critical funding infrastructure that supports direct care workers, who you guys represent. You know, highways and hospitals, they do not build themselves. And we need to be investing in building those kinds of programs, and we need to be investing in the workforce that provides those resources to the Maine community. For a long time, establishment politicians have been hollowing out pay and pension plans and trying to sell it all off to the highest bidder. And that all needs to come to an end. We are living in an America that in many ways we shouldn't be. We should not be living in a society where direct care workers are working 40-plus hours a week and still relying on SNAP or Medicaid, programs that Susan Collins has been happy to vote against or try to cut. We should not be living in an America where MSEA members who work as immigration social workers, case managers, support staff, where they are now bearing the brunt of a broken immigration system, while politicians like Susan Collins dump all the money into agencies like ICE so they can continue running around and terrorizing people instead of having a functional immigration system. We are living in a society which is the outcome of policy. We are living with the outcomes of decisions that are made by establishment politicians who for decades have been doing everything to serve those who donate the most money to them, have done everything to protect their own personal political power, and have done almost nothing to expand the services and to build a society that is actually going to provide for the average working person in this state and in this country. And I'm very much looking forward to what we get to do next together. The start of this is going to be building power. You know, at the end of the day, I firmly believe that we are facing fascism in this country. Historically, the only thing that's ever beaten that is a broad-based working-class coalition. We need to rebuild the old alliances of labor unions, community organizations, immigrant rights groups, civil rights groups, and political organizations to build power the old-fashioned way, from the ground up. Because in a society where organized money currently holds all the power, the only way we fight back is by organizing people. The great thing about the labor movement is that it never forgot how to do that. It never forgot that real power comes from the ability of working folks to organize together and advocate for themselves. Historically, that is the only way we ever get to move the ball forward towards justice and equality. We get to build that power now. And when we do, we then get to work on policy. We get to work together to remove the cap on Social Security taxable benefits, or Social Security tax rate. That way we can expand Social Security benefits, not just protect it, not just keep the trust fund from running dry, but expand benefits so Americans can retire earlier after a life of hard work, because that was the deal. We have to expand the right to unionize, pass the PRO Act. The ability of working people to organize in the workplace, to advocate for themselves, that is one of the best tools we have in a real democracy to protect ourselves from oligarchy, protect ourselves from control by the money. We used to have these laws in place that allowed people to do it, and we have systemically broken the back of organized labor on purpose for decades. It is time for us to turn that ship around. It is time for us to return to a world where we pass policy not just to make things fair, but frankly, to protect and incentivize organized labor, to make sure that we have a National Labor Relations Board that shows up in good faith, that isn't simply there to act on behalf of corporations and bosses, but is actually there to act as an intermediary on things like unfair labor practices. We can get this because we've had it before, but we have to change the rules. The other side changed the rules for a long time, and it's our time to rebuild power and change the rules for ourselves. We need to strengthen the ability of public sector workers to bargain. Right now, we have seen time and time again laws passed that strip away public sector workers' real ability to organize and advocate for themselves. Those are choices that we make, and we have to move them in a different direction. And then last but not least, we need massive federal investment in public programs, and that means we're going to need MSEA workers to provide those services. The challenges this country faces, the challenges ahead of us, we are done playing around in the margins. We are done making minor changes to existing policy. We need to dream big again, and we know that we can because we've done it before. We have the legacy of the New Deal. We have the legacy of Medicaid and Medicare. Hell, we have the legacy of the highways. There was a time when this country understood that for us to face the challenges of the future, we must harness all of the work ethic and the creativity of the American people, and we must put resources into it, public resources, to build a future for the public. And that is something we can absolutely do, and it is my honor to stand here today and be endorsed by you all, and I cannot wait to take part in this fight with you down the road. I really appreciate it.